Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. All right, so I got the idea for this topic basically from this event that I went to. I went to a conference for internet marketing, and there was this absolutely awesome business leader there, and he gave us so much food for thought. It was just absolutely bonkers. But it really got me to thinking about the I guess the business acumen, our level of business strength and knowledge in the home business community. And when I say home business community, I'm not just talking about network marketing. I'm talking about if you're in your house and you start a business, right? That, you know what, once you decide you're in business, that's when you are in business. However, there are still phases that your business has to go through. It is very easy to get into business. All it takes is a decision, but really staying in business and growing well, that is what takes some doing. Because we've all heard the statistics about how many businesses fail within the first 5 years and all of that stuff. Well, and I think because there is a level of misunderstanding, really, that causes that problem. So today, I want to talk about the startup phase of the home business. And we're going to be really spending a lot more time talking about business development topics. I mean, it all affects your taxes. So that's where we are. All right. Enough of that explaining. Okay. So today I want to focus on the startup phase of a home business. Like, what's really going on? What should you be doing? What kind of challenges you're going to be facing? So first of all, there's generally 5 phases of business. Okay. We're just talking about business, period. There is the development stage where you're kind of, filling out an idea, right? Just kind of tinkering around, finding out, is this going to be valuable to the community? Are people going to buy what I'm selling? Are they already buying what I'm selling, right? And so then step 2 is the startup phase. That's when you're actually starting to do some stuff, right? Then stage 3 is growth. Okay. You've gotten started and your business is actually growing. Then number 4 is expansion. And 5 is maturity. Okay. So when you think about businesses, let's take McDonald's, for example, right? It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest franchise, in the world. It started out as an idea. Then it kind of grew. They expanded because I don't know of a town that does not have a McDonald's, right? Even the smallest of towns has a McDonald's. Okay. Trust me. I have lived in them, so I know. Then there is the growth, and then they, expanding, and, like you would see, McDonald's would be considered a mature company. Okay. Now, although we're probably never going to be McDonald's, we still have to go through these things. So let's get to this startup part. Now, I want to address something for my network marketing squad, internet marketing squad kind of thing. The development stage for these types of businesses is already done for you. Okay. Because there's someone that took the time to do some research to say, hey, can we sell this stuff? Is it going to work? Somebody's already done that for you. So you're really coming in at the startup phase. Every home business has a startup phase. I don't care if you didn't do your own research and development, that you still have the startup. So when it comes down to startup, you're early in the business. It's very stressful. It can be considered risky, right? Because you are investing and you might not be seeing some return. And, the first question I get is like, how long are you considered a startup, right? There is no real defined definition for that startup phase, because it depends on how long it takes you to make money, right? Because you're still considered a startup when you're still trying to, to break in, to whatever industry you're in and make money. But the problem with a lot of home business owners is y'all stay in startup way too long. Okay. And that's where that 3 years starts to come into play for taxes, right? Because the IRS is looking at you like, 3 years, if you're not turning some kind of profit, perhaps you have a hobby and not a business. Now, that's not to say that you will automatically be determined to be a hobby, but that's the kind of thing that raises the IRS's red flag, because they're saying, how are you continuing to invest and you're not making any money? But yet we seeing all these expenses come through. Something in the milk ain't clean, and we got to find out what's going on, right? So, but during that startup time is when you are really doing the most work, but your intent is to make a profit. Okay. You're probably not going to make a profit your first year, your second year, or you know what, or perhaps even that third year. But if by that fourth year, if the IRS is not seeing some improvement, that's when they're going to be coming for you. Now, I wanted to also define startup, okay? Because that was something that I like words. I like to know like what how does society defines a startup. We have an idea of what startup is. And a lot of times we think about the tech industry, right? Where you think about the .com era where all of these little .com places were just popping up, right? We're talking about the tech area, and then there was the tech boom, and then there was the tech bust. People was just straight losing their minds, right? But it's defined as this. A startup is defined as a fledgling business enterprise. Now, we kind of know what fledgling means, right? But there's no real definition to say, okay, when am I a fledgling and when am I not? It really just depends on how you're making money. And it's also defined as this. A startup is an organization formed to search for a repeatable business model. Can what you do be duplicated? Now, even though we have all sorts of home businesses. Like, for instance, on this broadcast, I have my friend Jana who does custom quilts, right? She does some beautiful custom quilts, right? And so, although, are there people that can make quilts? Yeah, right? But what she does is specific to her because nobody's really doing it the way that she does it. Okay. But there are all types of things. So when you're looking at, depending on what your business is, right? The question is it repeatable? Can you grow and expand it? And some people don't want to do that, right? Some people want to stay small, like this is my little thing here, but that doesn't mean that you're still considered a startup. It depends on your profitability and your growth. Are you getting more customers? Are you growing in profit? All of those things matter. And the reason this matters, okay, and let me tell you why I'm here, is because when you're investing in a business, right, there are costs. They're called startup costs. You have startup costs and you have organizational costs, right? You've heard me talk about these things. But you can only deduct $5,000 of startup costs and $5,000 of organization costs, okay? The rest has to be amortized over 15 years. And if you know what depreciation is, if you have an idea of what depreciation is, then you understand amortization. Same thing, but over 15 years. The mistake that people make, because like I said, business is very easy to get into. It's the business knowledge that's lacking. So what happens is people go and, invest $30,000 in starting a business. Okay. That's great. But then the problem is when you invest $30,000 in starting a business and then you try to deduct $30,000 in a year, that is going to raise a red flag because that's not how it works. You give $5,000 of startup, $5,000 of organization, and then the rest is deducted over time. And so it's important for you to understand and knowing this, being able to make better decisions about how you invest in your growth. And considering that whole startup phase, because even though you may be in business for a while, you might be like, okay, well, I've been doing this for 2 years. Okay. But if you've been doing this for 2 years and you're still not making any headway, you're still not making any progress, then you go and drop another, $10,000-$15,000 and try to deduct that because you think, oh, I've been in business for 2 years. That might not necessarily fly. And if you invest all this money and then you wind up and saying, okay, I'm done, I quit, you don't get to just write that stuff off. Some of that stuff is counted as a capital loss and some of it would be a personal loss. Okay. And if it's a personal loss, 9 times out of 10, you may not be able to deduct that at all. It's just going to be just that, a loss. And the reason that these rules are in place is so that people don't try to game the system. Okay. So that okay, well, I'm just going to go and invest 10,000 in this business and then, we're not doing anything with it. We're just going to write that off on the IRS so we don't have to pay taxes. The IRS ain't that dumb. I told you, they might be slow, but they're not dumb. All right. And they put the picture together to see, okay, when they look at everything, they look at, how much money that you invested, how much money have you earned. When you start getting questions about, okay, how much time have you spent on this activity? See, one of the things it makes me laugh, right? In the network marketing industry. Okay, I come from the network marketing industry. I always have to say this, okay? I'm not hating on the network marketing industry, but I want you to understand the type of language that gets people into trouble. Okay? When in the network marketing industry, you hear something like, you can build your business in, 15 minutes at a time. Yeah, you can build a business 15 minutes at a time, but you can't spend 15 minutes every day trying to build a business and think you're in business. Absolutely not. If you're not spending 4 hours a day trying to, focus on building your business, then the IRS is going to look at you and go, boo, right? And because if you're spending the time and you're not making any money, there's something that doesn't add up. Because if you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're spending the time, trying to reach customers, understanding your target market, figuring out what products work, for you to sell versus what doesn't. If you're not doing all of that, no, you are not in business. You have an expensive hobby. So, so when you are, looking at your business like today, take the time to look at your business and ask yourself, am I a startup? How long have I been in the startup? How long have I not been making money? Because see, the other thing that I want you to also understand is that when you switch from one business to another, one of the things that the IRS looks at to determine if you have a business is, have you attempted the same thing before and failed? So the IRS is like, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect to get a different result, there is a problem. And they're going to come back to you and say, no, you got a hobby, and no, you can't deduct all this stuff and we want our money back. All right. So take the time to look at where you are in your business, right? Your business may be 1 or 2 years old, but the question is, are you doing what's necessary to turn a profit? Because if you're doing what's necessary to turn a profit, then you're going to have the money to reinvest in your business to get the things that you need to continue to grow. So it's not that it's a lack of profit, because you can, wind up with a zero. You're not positive. You're not negative. You have spent as much as you've earned and all of your deductions. Okay. But zero is not negative. When you're continually losing money, the IRS starts to wonder, where's this money coming from? Then if they start running credit reports to see, okay, there's no credit card debt here. So where is this money coming from? So they're looking at the whole big picture to see, are you really in business to make a profit, or are you in business to lose money in order for you to reduce your taxable income or increase a refund or reduce a tax liability? And if it's, if it looks like you over here just trying to not pay the IRS, it's not going to fly. But you have to be a very smart business owner to see, okay, where am I in my stage of growth? And, in this startup phase, am I doing what is necessary for my business to grow? Am I doing what is necessary to grow my customer base? Am I doing what is necessary to bring awareness, right? That's the first start of, growing a business, making sure that people know that you exist, right? What are you doing to advertise? Do you have flyers? Do you have business cards? Are you knocking on doors? Are you holding webinars? Are you posted on Facebook, social media, Pinterest, all that? Are you doing those things to make the public aware that you exist so people can come buy from you? That's what you're doing in your startup time. That's it. Even this, okay? So here, I'm about to hip you, right? Even these Facebook Lives that I do, these are to bring awareness to the public that I exist. So if the IRS was to come to me and say, hey, what's going on with your business? Okay, I don't know how many Facebook Lives to say, okay, here I am right here, letting the public know that I'm aware, right? We host workshops. We doing all this stuff. So if I was to lose money, I have something to show the IRS that says, yes, I am out here trying to make a profit. If you don't have that, in your calendar to say that you're going here networking, if you're not, whatever, if that's not documented, then it didn't happen. I got social media documentation, right? But this is the point. You have to be able to have a plan. What is the plan for you to go and do this thing? Like I go back to the types of businesses that have compensation plans. Your compensation plan is not your business plan. It is your company's compensation plan. You need to have a plan of how you are going to take action, how you are going to go, whether you go into your neighborhood, whether you use the internet, how are you planning to grow this business? You need a business plan. Your company that offers this type of compensation plan or whatever, they got their business plan. Okay, you have to have one for you to show how you plan to grow that to produce an income for you to live and grow profitably and not lose money. Okay, so I hope this has helped educate you a little bit, right, on business, because that's what we need to do. We need to become smarter business people. Yes, being in business is great. But if you're not smart about what you're doing, you're going to be in a whole world of hurt. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. We air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock ish. If you need to book a consult, you can do so at homebiztaxchat.com. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.